He said, if this court ever reaches out and reaches into America or our military,
hi guys,
or diplomacy, or
welcome to Xcom 2 board, the chosen
and I am not
modded core collection.
the same thing from the Biden Lincoln
Let's see,
administration
just loading it up now.
out there like this. We'll be right back.
Your calling. Some people find theirs at an early age, others later in life. No matter when you find it, consider yourself lucky, because it becomes your everything. Our calling was to build trucks. That's why trucks are what we do. We put our everything in every truck, so that when you find your calling,
it's about time we check out a boss or two here too. So we'll check it out.
At Consumer Cellular, we offer amazing 5G coverage, backed up by incredible customer service. But that wouldn't mean much without super low prices. You already know we're a path as much as the largest carriers. But guess what? AARP members can save even more.
And for a limited time, new customers get their second look free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
At Quince, we make inexpensive, expensive things. We know it sounds like a paradox, but we just flipped the way luxury is made. Like washable mulberry silk, unbelievably soft leather jackets, fine Mongolian cashmere, all at a fair price. Get free shipping and 365-day returns.
One of the greatest things God ever made was coffee. Let me tell you that much. Hot, hot coffee. Excellent stuff.
Custom mounts are just $4.99. Thousands of diamonds guaranteed the lowest price. Buy direct, the Jewelry Exchange.
If you're buying traditional liquid detergent, chances are you're buying a lot of water. And don't even get me started on the plastic. Instead, join the many other people who have already switched to Earthgreen's EcoSheet. It's time to make it at earthgreen.com.
We got another big horse race coming up in November. Who's your money on? Gosh, go mine. Go, man!
What are the odds? Tomorrow on Jesse Waters Prime Time.
Sorry, crowd. If you're talking,
Yeah, no press.
you have zero talent, skill, or understanding of that location.
Oh, great!
The purpose of your job is weak. They are not weak. I feel like he's best for me. We've worked too long and hard for this. Go with it. I must run. We are known to them. Reading positive story program, working with their dogs by reading stories to them. Their action affect their desires that make a very big difference with the day-to-day mental health. Thank you for your support of the community. It allows our therapy dog program to continue to
Welcome back, America. We're here with Professor Alan Dershowitz, who's written a fantastic book, War Against the Jews, How to End Hamas Barbarism. How precious. Now's the time to get it. Amazon.com. Alan Dershowitz, I was thinking, you have to think outside the box with all these things going on in our campuses and so forth. If I'm a parent of a student, I paid $70,000 for that kid to go to Columbia or UCLA or wherever the hell they're going, and my kid can't get to class, my kid can't get graduation, my kid can't get an education. Why can't I sue the university for my tuition to get it back? It's a contract. The contract has been broken. Why can't thousands and thousands of students sue these universities in order to get their tuition back?
They can and they should. We must fight lawfare with lawfare.
We've started a group called Hurt a Jew, We Sue You. If you give me the name of somebody who hurt the Jew, give me the name of the person who's hurt, we will sue them. We'll take away their dorm rooms. We'll take away their cars. We'll take away their boom boxes. We'll bankrupt them. Because you can't hurt a Jew and get away with it anymore. And the same thing is true of universities. There should be a multifaceted approach. Number one, sue the universities. Number two, get that Congress, if they can, to take away their federal funding or bring a lawsuit to prevent the federal government from paying them funding for teaching this kind of anti-American, anti-Semitic, anti-Israel stuff, which is in violation of federal statute. So we have to fight back legally. I'm 85 years old. If I were 25, I'd be in the Gaza Strip fighting for Israel. All I can do is fight with my pen, my tongue, and my ability to be on shows like yours that have such a big impact. The Anti-Semitism Aware Act, for having people saying it violates the First Amendment. I want to ask you a few questions as we lead up to this. In the short time we have back. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed by Lincoln, and many people said it was unconstitutional. It may well have been, but Lincoln decided it needed to be done. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, Bob Work, among others, said that's not constitutional, even though we support it. And yet it was signed and the court sorted it out. Now we have the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, and people are saying, well, that's unconstitutional. Is the core of the act unconstitutional in the first place? And isn't the place to sort that out the Supreme Court? You get an A+ in law. You're absolutely right. The core of the act that requires that Jews be treated the way blacks are treated, that there be equality, is perfectly constitutional. In fact, it's demanded by the Equal Protection Clause. If there are claims that the definition of anti-Semitism at the edges may be too extreme, for example, Congresswoman Green said that it would prevent Christians from abiding by the New Testament description of the death of Jesus. All right, take that case, bring it up. It'll probably lose, but take it up and pass the statute. As Ecclesiastes says, to everything there's a season. And this is the season for everybody in the United States government coming out against anti-Semitism on a nonpartisan basis, pass the statute, challenge the president to sign it. Let's see if he does. We'll see Congress people from the squad opposing the signing. They don't care about the First Amendment. They only care about piling on against Israel. So put the challenge forward. Sign the statute, put it into law, let it be challenged. We'll see what the court says. Focus more against Hamas, Harvard, see you soon. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you. We'll be right back.
At last, an electric vehicle.
Excellent.
Recharge. You. The all-new, all-electric 3-row Kia EV9.
Kia. Movement that inspires. If you spit blood when you brush, it could be the start of a domino effect. Use Paradox Active Gum Repair Breath Freshener. Clinically proven to help reverse the 4 signs of early lung disease.
I hate this one the worst.
The gum experts. My daughter is Mila. She is 19 months old. She is a little ray of sunshine. One of the happiest babies you'll probably ever meet. Children with Down syndrome typically have a higher risk for developing acute leukemia or just leukemia in general. Here.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital works day after day to find cures and save the lives of children with cancer and other life-threatening diseases.
She was referred to St. Jude at 11 months. They knew what to do as soon as they got her diagnosis. They already had her treatment plan drawn out, and they're like, this is what we're going to do, this is how long it's going to take, this is how long in between. This place is like family to us. Like, I can't say enough how grateful we are to be here. Medical bills are always a big thing to everybody because everybody knows that anything medical is going to be expensive. We have received no bills since being at St. Jude. We have paid for nothing.
Thanks to generous donors like you, families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food, so they can focus on helping their child live. For just $19 a month, You'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment that these kids need now and in the future. Join with your credit or debit card right now, and we'll send you this Thank You t-shirt that you can proudly wear to show your support.
Anybody and everybody that contributes anything to this place, no matter if it's a big business or just the grandmother that donates, once a month, they are changing people's lives, and that's a big deal.
My name is Giovanni Vitidio. 40 years ago, we started this world-famous paintball business. I walk anywhere from 5 to 6 miles every single day. To run a business like this, you really need to have this stuff. When I hear about Bound to Nature, I use this as the product because it's just not real. Bound to Nature has fruit and vegetables in the ingredients. With Bound to Nature, it's great.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balancenature.com and use discount code FOXNEWS.
As the candidates race toward the White House, America hopes for a clean and fair election. But kids understand what that means. It's why my team created the Kids Guide to the Presidential Election. As your kids read it, they'll discover how elections are won and how to ensure that every legal vote is counted and what happens when they're not. All future voters need this guide, and you can have it for free.
To order, visit freeelectionguide.com. That's freeelectionguide.com.
Are your gutters clogged? Cleaning them can be dangerous. Get leak filter. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call or click today. Get your free gutter inspection on your schedule and get leak filter installed in as little as a few hours. You'll never have to clean out your gutters again. Guaranteed. Get leak filter today. Call 833-LEAK-FILTER or go to leakfilter.com. As easy as 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back, America. Joe Biden's concerned about free speech. He says we're not an authoritarian country, Free speech, he says. So when it comes to Jew hatred, violence, brutality, threats, river to the sea, and all the rest of it, he's very concerned about the First Amendment. When it comes to parents at school board meetings, his Attorney General issues a memorandum to the entire federal police force telling them to monitor the parents. When it comes to pro-lifers who are peacefully protesting at abortion clinics, his Department of Justice is throwing grandmothers in prison. When it comes to the Catholic Church, well, that's not Islamophobia, of course. That's Catholic phobia. The FBI seems to secrete itself in the Catholic Church because they're told it's very, very radical. And of course, this administration with its disinformation board and its all of government approach to social media trying to influence what is and isn't said, that Joe Biden, he's for the First Amendment. I'm on to you, Biden. I'm on to you. I know what you are. I know who you are. And I'm going to stay with you until you leave office. I'll see you next time on Life, Liberty, and Levin.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Trey Downey, and it's Sunday night in America. It matters what the battle, the fight, the war, the protest is about. The battle of Thermopylae preserved democracy. World War II liberated the world from tyranny. Dietrich Bonhoeffer was in prison and executed trying to stop a genocide. Martin Luther King was in prison and killed fighting for equality. Compare that with what we're witnessing on college campuses. Students and agitators demonstrating, protesting, engaging in criminality in support of Hamas, a terrorist group. And some will take exception and say that protests are rooted in something more powerful, but these protests cannot be rooted in a desire for a two-state solution, because that issue's been around since the 1940s. And these protests cannot be about what is just, because it was Hamas who initiated war with a sneak attack on civilians. And it can't be about protecting innocents, because it's Hamas who uses hospitals and schools and neighborhoods as fronts for war. To quote a poet, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And these protesters are showing you exactly who they are when they call for the elimination of the Jewish state, engage in violence, fight with police, and chant from the river to the sea. It's too much even for President Biden.
Say Banish.
Not to cause chaos. None of this is a peaceful protest. Threatening people, intimidating people, instilling fear in people is not a peaceful protest. It's against the law. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, or discrimination against Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans. It's simply wrong. There's no place for racism in America.
There's a history on the left of excusing lawlessness when it suits and then condemning it when it doesn't. The right thing is to condemn criminality whenever it is. So these so-called elite schools aided and abetted something they can no longer control. Lawlessness spreads, and it eventually consumes everyone, even those who initially ignored it. Joining us is former Secretary of State, former CIA Director Mike Pompeo. Welcome to you, Mr. Secretary. Initially, these protests reminded me of the Occupy movement when you and I were in the House. The Obama administration bent over backwards to avoid consequences for taking over national parks. And then later, the lack of consequence for lawlessness in the aftermath of George Floyd's murder. To me, lawlessness eventually consumes everything and everyone if they don't stop it when it begins.
Trey, it's great to be with you. And you have it absolutely right. This is about the rule of law, basic order in the United States of America, whether it was the Occupy movement or the BLM folks in the summer 20, or what we're seeing today. You have to enforce the law. And it goes broader and deeper than that. Your point about what are they protesting, I'd add to this. Sometimes they say they're protesting an occupation, but of course you and I both know Israelis haven't occupied Gaza since 2006. So this is about a progressive movement, and if we don't defend the basic rule of law, protect our southern border, ensure that if you steal something at Walgreens, no matter what the value of it is that you stole at Walgreens, you will be prosecuted for that. If we don't understand that there's black and white, there's not politics, there's the rule of law, the risk of the breakdown of the republic continues to increase. And frankly, the next generation of young people won't understand the basic foundations upon which our founders understood life, liberty, the pursuit of all the things that are great, happiness, and all the things that are great here in America.
Mr. Secretary, given the former service you've had to our country, CIA Director, you served on House Intel, Secretary of State, you've seen things that most of us have never seen and won't. I wonder if seeing the raw footage from the Hamas attack last October would impact any of these students. I really wonder if actually seeing the barbarism would matter to them.
Trey, I think these students are ignorant, not dumb, ignorant, uninformed, to your point. I would love to make sure that every one of them had a chance to see not what the Israelis put out, not what the Americans put out, but what these Hamas barbarians actually filmed of themselves. I think that might cause them to take a step back, but frankly, that's not really what this is about. This is about their fundamental Marxist idea about America and oppression and groupthink and racism. I think that's who these people are at their core. And so, frankly, I hope that they'll all see this. I hope that they would, in the same way that it impacted me personally when I saw it. I pray that it would impact them as well. But I fear that there are bigger agendas here that go far beyond. They would simply say, that wasn't somehow justified because of something that was going on someplace else that they cared deeply about.
Mr. Secretary, I like simple, bright-line rules. I like to condemn lawlessness, whether it's January 6th, whether it's May the 1st, whether it's in late April. Why do you think some of these schools have been so slow to respond?
Look, I think there is deeply embedded in the faculties in most of America's elite institution an understanding of oppression, and to talk about it, it comes out in different things like the language of DEI and the like. So when they see these students, they just simply think, gosh, we don't want to push back against them because it might impact our endowment, it might cause these students to leave, and frankly, they are perfectly willing to abandon Jewish students in favor of this progressive left. That is now, I think, deeply embedded in these institutions, and I think we saw that play out on these campuses. And these people are not about the rule of law. They think about this differently. This is all politics all the time for them. And I think those faculties have been politicized and radicalized to permit things like this to happen at the expense of basic law and order.
Mr. Secretary, there's reporting that Turkey is punishing Israel via a refusal to trade. Do you expect to see more of this? And if you were running the show, and you may be one day, what would your response to Turkey be?
Look, I think Turkey's grabbed the wrong end of the stick here. We've been the long-standing agreements between Turkey and Israel. It's gotten better from time to time. Frankly, it was a little bit better during the Trump administration. We convinced them each that there was a shared set of interests that they had. I hope President Erdogan and his foreign minister, who I know really well, a capable, smart fellow, I hope that they will come to see that this isn't the right thing to do. It's not good for the Turkish people. It's terrible for the Israeli people. And it's bad for their neighborhood, the Middle East, with Bashar Assad in Syria on his border. He really does need the Gulf Arab states, Israel, and the United States to be alongside him in making sure that these basic ideas of borders and security are something that America is prepared to do alongside our NATO partner, Turkey.
Mike Pompeo, one of the longest and most distinguished resumes in current America. Thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Bless you, Trey. Great to see you again. Have a good rest of your Sunday night.
Yes, sir. You too. The International Criminal Court may investigate Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu for alleged human rights violations. It's the same group who issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin. Yes, nothing happened. No word on how their investigation into Iran is proceeding. But it's not just some toothless international agency criticizing Netanyahu. The Biden administration is warning the Jewish state not to go forward with the invasion of Rafah. Joining us is the former Israeli Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett. Welcome, Mr. Prime Minister. What, in your view, is the current state of this war, and will Israel continue to push the offensive so long as Hamas holds hostages?
Yes, we will. We actually have no choice. The Hamas is, I would say, dedicated to destroying and annihilating Israel. They say it explicitly. They say they're going to continue trying to kill Jews as long as they exist. And they're on our border, so we really have no choice.
Mr. Prime Minister, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi called for regime change in Israel, which is strange since I don't think they called for regime change in Russia, Iran, or North Korea. Gerald Nadler just recently said that Netanyahu is the worst leader in 2,100 years. I mean, Nadler is old, but I don't think he was around for all the Jewish leaders. So what do you make of American politicians inserting themselves into Israeli government affairs?
I think Israel is a vibrant democracy, and domestically within Israel, we voice our opposition, voice our support. Everyone voices whatever they want, and it's the Israeli public's business to choose their leaders. Israel is a democracy, and obviously no one wants to change that. The other places you mentioned, such as Iran or other locations, are not necessarily democracies, and it makes sense to change a regime leader.
I can't speak for Israel. I can tell you that the folks I run around with in the United States don't really care much what Chuck Schumer or Nancy Pelosi or Jerry Adler think about Israeli politics. But when the Biden administration, as it's been reported, threatens to withhold ammunition from Israel, that does get our attention. So have you heard anything to buttress this reporting that the Biden administration is actually conditioning munitions on doing what the Biden administration wants Israel to do with Gaza?
I hope it's not true. I heard the rumor. I hope it's not true. Because we're fighting not only Israel's war, we're at the forefront fighting the war against radical Islam in Gaza that is attacking Israelis, radical Islam in Europe that attacks Europeans, radical Islam on campuses in the United States of America where they're explicitly saying that they want America to change its laws to be Sharia, religious Islamic laws. So we have to push this whole wave back, and we're the ones doing the fighting. And we know that it's our task to do it. What we expect is that our friends have our back.
Congress recently took up a bill which put the hard right in the same camp with the so-called squad. How do you define anti-Semitism?
Well, anti-Semitism is the persecution of individual Jews, but it's also denying the Jews the collective rights of being a nation. And we have a Jewish nation, and the Jewish country is the state of Israel. There's only one Jewish state on earth, and that's Israel. There's 22 Arab states. There's countless Christian states, but only one Jewish state on earth. Yet Some people want to deny that. Folks who want Israel to disappear are anti-Semitic.
What would you say, to the extent there are any college kids listening tonight, what would you say to the college students harassing Jewish students? And I wonder if seeing the raw footage from what Hamas did would impact them.
You know, I would hope that it's a naivete of these college students. They are so much in the wrong side, and I guess in a few years when they grow up,
Shit.
they'll realize how stupid it was what they're doing, because they're fighting against the only democracy, liberal democracy in the Middle East. And we're the ones surrounded by crazy, radical Islamic
I hate when they do
regimes
that.
that want to destroy the West, want to destroy America, want to destroy Israel. America is called the big Satan. Israel is called by them the small Satan. But we're the ones fighting. And the last thing you want to do to a friend of yours that is fighting for you and for themselves is to tie their hands or to fight them. I can only be sorry about it. I'm sure that in the future they'll realize how mistaken this approach was.
Let's hope you're right. Former Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, thank you so much for joining us on Sunday night.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, more GOP House Speaker drama. Another media-hungry member is threatening a speaker, but the reaction is different this time. Wonder why. The latest from Capitol Hill next on Sunday Night America.
Where the fuck do I go?
That's lung disease. The Scots have the plus weak currents.
Lung disease?
Going around.
So, like, other people have it and it's not.
Pick up a bag of the new Scott Start Builder Healthy Plus farm food today. Eat it all. Eat it. When we say it'll be on time, they expect it to be on time. Turn shipping to your advantage. Keep those expectations with reliable ground shipping. Extended with USPS Ground Advantage.
Optical sensors on Overwatch.
Welcome to the roots of our legacy, where excellence, comfort, and electricity are forever. And now, welcome to Beyond, the Mercedes Micra EQS SUV.
My name is Dr. Zach. I'm a doctor of podiatric medicine. My name is Todd. I'm a paramedic firefighter. Been on the job for 28 years. My name is Dr. I'm a chiropractor. I've been taking Balance of Nature for 23 years. I love Balance of Nature. It was definitely a product that I would recommend to other people. Never stop taking it. They sent me all pictures, you know. As far as Balance of Nature goes, I'll keep making stuff until the die. I'm almost 55 years old, and because I have so much vitality, I can really enjoy the great outdoors. Our bodies are kind of like machines. If you do not give the machine the proper nutrition, it's not going to work very well. Simple as that.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements. Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Call or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FOXNews.
Hi, I'm Janice, and I lost 172 pounds on Golo. When I was a teenager, I had some severe trauma in my life, and I turned to food for comfort. A friend told me that I was the only one holding me back from being as beautiful on the outside as I am on the inside. Once I saw Golo was working, I felt this rush. I just had to keep going. A lot of people think no pain, no gain. But with Golo, it is so easy. When I look in the mirror, I don't even recognize myself. Golo really works.
It's an honor being a Visiting Angels caregiver and one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I love knowing that I'm making a personal impact in someone's life with compassionate care and kindness. If your passion is caring for others, then being a Visiting
Here it
Angel
is.
can be the key to unlocking the best place in your heart. To learn more, scan the code or visit us online at visitingangels.com. Visiting Angels, America's choice of home care.
You better start being real careful. There's no ordinary kind of mush that Billy shall require.
Open it safe. How much is it worth to have a clear conscience?
We got another big horse race coming up in November. Who's your money on? Gosh, go on. Gotta go to Florida, man.
What are the odds? Tomorrow on Jesse Waters Prime Time.
On my way.
Hey, Emma.
We need a mattress, right?
We're launching to a different job. Our mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone.
Disengaging.
Your veterans join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our member perks program will save you thousands on shopping, products, and services across the country. Join us at Legion.in.
Last 2 years, the right thing on my own. It's been really challenging. For things like food, keeping the cost of food down, also groceries and other necessities that is always gone with a smile. Thanks to everything, moving is ordered. Embracing dignity.
This day is done.
It's important that we're
Mission
local.
accomplished. The Chosen have recovered more information about us, Commander. If they keep this up, they'll eventually be able to find the Avenger. We need to stop them before that happens.
Right here in our community.
The kindness was a joke, but every time I walk in, things quite the coach before it, they just let me through.
I really feel good about helping other people. That's how I was brought up.
Advent officials announced an increase to this.
Welcome back to Sunday Night America. For a group who claims to love democracy, Congress has a really funny way of showing it. Can you imagine allowing a single person to undo an election, to thwart the will of the vast majority? I mean, that's literally the textbook definition of anti-democratic, which is why no other group does it. Presidents can be impeached but not vacated. Supreme Court justices can only be impeached. Members of Congress cannot be recalled or vacated. The Senate Majority Leader hasn't been vacated, but the Speaker can be removed because a single member wants it. Of course it's not in the Constitution because it makes no sense to hold a sword of Damocles over the head of a leader on a daily basis. Marjorie Taylor Greene is drawing the current ire of colleagues, but the scheme was hatched in January of 2023 when a handful of members wanted Kevin McCarthy to grovel and beg and disarm and prostrate himself. They withheld support because they relished the idea of making their leader serve at the pleasure of the most unhinged member on any given day, and then it happened. A member under investigation by the Ethics Committee with a personal grudge led the charge, and with only 7 other Republicans, joined with every single Democrat. And a month's worth of embarrassment ensued, but fundraising was good. What really changed? Different speaker, but same results. So now there's this.
We need leaders in the House of Representatives that are going to get this done. Not working for Hakeem Jeffries, not working for Joe Biden. Now we have Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats coming out, embracing Mike Johnson with a warm hug and a big, wet, sloppy kiss. Next week, I am going to be calling this motion to vacate. Absolutely calling it.
And the difference this time is Democrats will rescue Mike Johnson. Democrats will let Kevin McCarthy hang, but they will protect Mike Johnson, which makes this whole exercise utterly meaningless. A single Republican triggered the removal of a speaker for allegedly working with Democrats, only to then work with Democrats to get a new speaker, one Democrats enjoy so much they will save him. What did you get? Joining us is a national political reporter for The Hill, Julia Manchester. Welcome, Julia. So Democrats will join with most Republicans and table this motion to vacate, which makes, I guess, Mike Johnson more tolerable, more palatable for Democrats, and the 8 who removed Kevin McCarthy. Is that the takeaway?
Yeah, I think that's the takeaway, and I think we saw this deal that Mike Johnson made with Democrats. Look, Democrats were really looking to make that deal. They wanted more funding to Ukraine. They wanted that funding to Israel. And we saw also a number of Republicans who were also on board with that deal. But, you know, I find it so ironic that Marjorie Taylor Greene is sitting there outside of the Capitol with a Make America Great Again hat, President Trump's slogan, you know, saying that they need a new speaker, etc. But then you have Mike Johnson, who was literally down in Florida this weekend fundraising with President Trump. President Trump very much has backed him in the wake of this, you know, endorsement. So the speaker drama. So you have essentially everyone seemingly up against Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think it's left a lot of Republicans and Democrats puzzled as to, you know, why would she do that at this point, especially when Republicans in the House are facing a very tough election year.
Boy, that was a history major, so I enjoy going back in time, and luckily we don't have to go back very far, just to October, when 8 Republicans joined arms with every single Democrat and several conservative commentators to get rid of Kevin McCarthy. So my question is, how have things changed? How are they different under Speaker Mike Johnson? The Democrats still have to help pass rules. There's still suspension votes. The Freedom Caucus is just as mad as they used to be. Ukraine was funded. Pfizer was reauthorized. So what did these 8 Republicans get other than fundraising?
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, it's also important to note that Kevin McCarthy was a very good fundraiser when he was speaker. But, you know, in terms of, you know, what's changed, look, I think, you know, foreign policy, namely, has changed. We've seen that, you know, ever since October, China has become an even bigger threat than it was in the Indo-Pacific. We see that the war in Ukraine is very much facing a turning point with the Ukrainians really saying they need that aid. And then, you know, arguably, most importantly, you have just before this vote, Iran, you know, launching a retaliatory strike into Israel, sending drones into Israel. So I think the foreign policy calculus of this changed and sort of upped the ante for Republicans and Democrats to ultimately come together on this.
Here's one thing I'll be watching. Former Speaker McCarthy says that Matt Gaetz went after him because of a pending ethics probe and that it was personal. If nothing has changed other than what you laid out, foreign policy, with the new speaker, and lots of things have not changed, how do you expect Congressman Gaetz to vote? Because if he votes to keep Johnson for doing the same thing McCarthy did, then it does look personal at this point.
It does. And I think, you know, you have President Trump, and we know that President Trump and, you know, former Speaker McCarthy definitely had an interesting relationship. You had McCarthy going down to get Trump's backing, his blessing, and they worked together. But I think, you know, the difference here is that we're in an election year. The Republicans have a very, very narrow majority in the House. And, you know, you have President Trump very vocally backing Mike Johnson and backing the Republican establishment in the House. So, you know, I'm curious if someone like Matt Gaetz is looking to President Trump and saying, I'm going to fall in line here. The question I have is, you know, what's the end game for Marjorie Taylor Greene? Obviously, to get rid of Mike Johnson, but, you know, what else does she see coming out of this?
Oh, I'd be cynical, but the end game may be fundraising. Julia Manchester, thank you so much for joining us on this Sunday night.
Thank you.
Up next, Democrat Congressman Henry Cuellar has been indicted. Former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman on the charges and what to make of Merrick Garland's DOJ right after the break.
In here, you can expect to find crystal clear audio, expansive display space, and more comfort for everyone. But we still left room for all the unexpected things you'll find out here. The new 2024 Grand Cherokee lineup. Jeep, there's only one.
It's Jeep 4x4 season. Where right now, get the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee starting at $38,290 MSRP. Visit Jeep.com for details.
At Quince, we make inexpensive, expensive things. We know it sounds like a paradox, but we just flipped the way luxury is made. Like washable mulberry silk, unbelievably soft leather jackets, fine Mongolian cashmere, all at a fair price. Get free shipping and 365-day returns at Quince.com.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we grew sick and tired of flying flags that were made overseas, flags that would rip and tear easily. So we really made a commitment to quality. All of our flags are finished bar tacking at all the stress points, and they are sewn using double needle lock stitching.
All of our flag materials are sourced in America, and they are made by American businesses. So we're American made from beginning to end.
Shop now at showallegiance.com.
Skating for over 45 years has taken a toll on my body. I take Qunol turmeric because it helps with healthy joints and inflammation support. Why Qunol? It has superior absorption compared to regular turmeric. Qunol, the brand I trust.
My goal is to make lines in the face absolutely okay. I believe in looking your best at every stage and being okay where you are. Miracle Balm is a game changer for mature skin. It's the product I've been dreaming about my whole life.
There's news. And there's good news. Like thousands of patients receiving free, life-changing surgeries. From volunteer doctors and nurses on hospital shifts. All made possible by donations. We love good news.
Oh, this is definitely saving.
Hey folks, Chris Cooney for Leak Filter, a permanent cover solution that protects your home in so many ways. It takes more than one Chris to explain it. Am I right, Chris?
That's right, Chris, but together I think we got this job covered.
My Leak Filter has your gutters covered. Keep it on the green like this. And protect you from getting up on this stick and clean out your gutters ever again. And our install process keeps the roof warranty intact. Exactly, Chris. You know all Leak Filter protects your home?
How's that, Chris?
I don't know, I'm asking you.
By redirecting water away from your foundation.
Sure, and
With our lifetime transferable no cost warranty.
at Leak Filter, we stand behind our work for always you and your home.
Longer, Chris.
Huge. Good folks, good Leak Filters. Free, no hassle inspection.
Schedule your free inspection. Free filter today. Filter.com.
The enemy turrets are hammering the ship. We have to
Leak Filter, we're small enough to listen.
Hi, Grandma. I played baseball today. Oh, that's great.
What position did you play?
First base. That's where Grandma used to say. In our hearing, it wouldn't allow us to use a regular phone. It made us feel isolated.
It became difficult to communicate with our friends.
Clear Captions was an easy solution for us.
Clear Captions provides captions on a phone, like captioning on your TV, so you can see what the caller is saying live,
Making it easy to understand and respond immediately.
There is no insurance or care required.
I'm gonna check you guys next time, alright? Peace out.
To you through a federally funded program.
Stay strong.
We deliver, install, and train you on how to use your phone, all at no cost to you.
Give your loved ones the independence and connection they deserve.
Call now to see if you qualify.